multidimensional, robustly argumentative, and mutually enriching. It's a bonding between the world's largest democracies, underpinned by kindred liberal democratic values and a striking convergence of interests spanning a broad spectrum of areas. From trade and investment, civil nuclear cooperation, and counter-terrorism to clean energy, education, and innovation, the India-US engagement has a range that is simply unprecedented. The defining partnership of the 21st century is now poised for a new beginning as India and the United States hold the first strategic dialogue since the installation of a new government in New Delhi, re-energizing the relationship which was transformed after the path-breaking civil nuclear deal of 2008 and mapping new frontiers of engagement will be the overarching focus of India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and US Secretary of State John Kerry when they hold full-spectrum talks in New Delhi, July 31. The strategic dialogue is part of the complex architecture of the India-US engagement, which encompasses over 30 separate dialogue mechanisms covering diverse areas. The strategic dialogue would launch in July 2009 and focuses on 5 pillars. Number 1, strategic cooperation. Number 2, energy and climate change, education and development. Number 3, economy, trade and agriculture. Number 4, science and technology. Number 5, health and innovation. The first strategic dialogue was held in Washington June 2010, followed by successive rounds in New Delhi in July 2011, Washington again in June 2012, and New Delhi in June 2013. The venue of the strategic dialogue has been rotating between the capitals of India and the United States, but 2014 is an exception, with New Delhi hosting it for the second year in a row.
Fortunately, the agenda will be completely new from what it was a year ago when the last strategic dialogue was held, because the Americans came last year with a long list of grievances, and fortunately when they start this dialogue, much of those would have been met by the policies of the new government and by the announcements in the budget. So I think there will be a happier atmosphere in the meeting and a sense of renewal.
This strategic dialogue is particularly important because of a change in government in New Delhi, and therefore the Americans would like to size up the thinking of the new government on all the issues on the table. And on the Indian side, naturally this would be their first experience after 10 years to deal directly officially with high-ranking US political personalities and grasp what the US may have in mind in terms of what they call the defining relationship of the 21st century.
Scaling up economic ties will be the centerpiece of the talks, which will set the agenda for India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States in September this year. On the economic side, the sky is virtually the limit, and expanding trade and investment will be a major priority in the days to come. Secretary Kerry has spoken warmly about re-energizing India-US ties and voiced hope that the two countries could scale up bilateral trade to $500 billion from the current $100 billion.
We have today reached a level of $100 billion in terms of bilateral exchanges in both commodities and exchange of services. Now look at the projections which are being made. I will take an IMF projection of what the global economy will look like in 2030. According to that projection, both India and the US will have roughly similarly sized economies, which will be at $30 trillion GDP. When you look at the American and Indian economies being almost equal in size, which is quite unthinkable right now, $100 billion can go up to $500 billion, but I think it can easily be scaled up to $1 trillion by 2030. So why be less than ambitious? I think we should aim at $1 trillion exchanges by 2030.
The fruition of the landmark civil nuclear deal that transformed the relationship between the hitherto estranged democracies into engaged democracies remain a work in progress. Looking ahead, one can expect the two sides to fast-track the implementation of the nuclear deal that promises to be an important pillar of India's energy security in the days to come. Another important facet of the burgeoning India-US engagement is a vigorous and sustained dialogue on a wide array of regional and global issues ranging from Afghanistan to Africa. Security and counter-terror cooperation has been growing steadily and has acquired an added force after the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks.
In empirical terms, the most important relationship that we have with any country is the United States relationship. There is no doubt about it. And if you look at the kind of number of dialogues we have with the United States, some say there are 23, 24, some say there are 30. I don't know how many there are. But the range of dialogues we have with the United States is so vast that we have no parallel of that with any other country. So this goes to show that in terms of what the two sides can give each other and expect of each other, there is a huge potential.
The canvas of the India-US engagement is indeed all-encompassing, but what imparts the relationship its unique character is people-driven engagement and the forging of an enduring, innovation-focused partnership in areas of education, science and technology, clean energy and public health that directly impacts the lives of ordinary people. The great American dream, which essentially means scripting your own destiny, has effortlessly intersected with the Indian dream of carving one's place in the world, with over 1 billion Indians striving to craft a better life for themselves in the here and the now. Over 100,000 Indian students studying in various American universities exemplify the twinning of Indian and American dreams. The 3 million strong Indian diaspora in the United States, who are among the most well-educated and well-heeled expatriates, have remained powerful connectors and bridge builders between the world's two largest democracies. The governments may come and go, but the people of the two countries will make sure that India and the United States will remain robustly engaged democracies, rejuvenating each other's society and system with ideas, initiative and innovation, fulfilling the extraordinary promise of what President Obama has called the defining partnership of the 21st century.